Bellachara offers seniors beautiful apartment living. It's a special, secure place to belong, providing choice, freedom and professional care. Each spacious apartment comes with an ensuite, veranda, security and on-call nurses. Entertain your guests in the elegantly appointed shared spaces. Our vibrant activities program will keep your mind and body active. Bellachara welcomes new residents. Call us today on 5202 5300 for a personal tour.
Welcome back as we continue with our sports news. And this time it's the Geelong Bowls Region Division 1 Pennant Bowls and semi-finals time at the Geelong West Bowls Club last Saturday. The first semi-final was a knockout match between Torquay and Port Arlington, where the Surfside boys took the honours, as we speak with Alan Sampson following the Torquay win. In the first semi-final today at Geelong West, it was Torquay who have downed Port Arlington. And a happy smiling skipper Alan Simpson with a 14-shot win on his rink and leading the Torquay Bowls Club to victory. Alan, a very good game and one that you'd be very pleased with.
It's a very good game and a very tough game under trying conditions with the wind, but very nice greens at Geelong West on their Tift. They're very, very good greens to play on.
And for our viewers, the Tift Dwarf, what makes them so good to play on that Tift Dwarf grass?
Oh, it's a different mixture from the ordinary bent grass that we play on, and it's more like a carpet, and it's got different characteristics from the bent, whereas the bent will probably turn a lot more, but the Tift has got its sometimes the pace of say 14 and a draw of 12, so it takes a bit of getting used to at some stages. But just today with the wind, one side was very narrow and you had to just it affected your bowls a lot on some shots. So you've got to use the mat and sort of try to guess when the wind's going to stop and blow, and just a bit of luck sometimes.
And reflecting on your home and away season, it was you had a solid season, but you'd have to rate today as probably the best win of the year so far, taking you now into the first semi-final, or the preliminary final, I beg your pardon.
Any final win's a good win. We started off reasonably well, and the only side that was our best beating us was Queenscliff, but then towards the end we lost a couple of games that we shouldn't have. To RSL and to Leopold, but we're on the winning trail back again. But we're again a bit worrying. We had a couple of rinks down by a fair, one rink down by a big margin today, but we were able to cover it, thank goodness. But when you get into against say Queenscliff next week, we won't be able to have that, as they'll kill us if we do that.
Where was your strength today at Torquay?
Oh well, Daryl Kitchen won very nicely today. He played young Michael Hennessy, and whereas last week Michael was the big winner for Port Arlington down at their green, but Daryl had his measure today by very, very good game by Daryl and his team.
Now, watching Queenscliff and Belmont took out a good win, and Queenscliff seemed to find it very difficult again, the conditions and the pace of the green. Well,
there again, see, they play all their home games on their carpet, and as I said, this is a different texture to the carpet, and I was surprised that Belmont won, but good luck to them, and it takes a bit of getting used to, and I think Queenscliff will be much harder next week, unfortunately. I don't know where we're going to play them. I might be playing them here because these are some of the best greens around Geelong, these Tift greens. Beautiful greens.
Queenscliff on the rebound are going to be difficult, but you feel Torquay will be up to it because you take a lot of confidence away from today's win.
Yeah, they've had our measure in the other two games. We played them, and young James give Barry Close a nice little touch up the first time around, but the second time at Torquay they give us a lesson. But you never know the matchups. Whoever plays who could be the difference. If the right players play the right things, but it's even money anyway, isn't it? But on paper, they look pretty good.
And it is, but today a lot of their name players just weren't able to get on their game, and again, it just underlines that fact that who's the better on the day.
You got to, as I say, the wind and the conditions, and if this first team to adjust to them has got a big chance. So we'd be quietly confident, but they're going to be a tough nut to crack.
Well, viewers, we're off to the preliminary final next weekend, and it'll be Torquay playing Queenscliff Blue. Thank you, Alan. Then it was up to the top rink at Geelong West, where the highly favoured Queenscliff Blue side played Belmont for a grand final berth. We spoke with a very pleased Belmont skipper, Shane Carbines, after the meritorious victory. He's all smiles, the man from the Belmont Bowling Club Division 1 pennant side, Shane Carbines, after Belmont have upset Queenscliff Blue to take out the second semi-final here at Geelong West. Congratulations, Shane, on a difficult day to bowl.
Fantastic, thanks Graham. It was a difficult day. The wind was very blustery, but we just stuck at it. We had a good lead at we're up by 7 at half time, and we went on with it. We've won well. Play about a dozen, I think. I'm not sure yet.
Now, for our viewers, we were bowling north-south, and when you're bowling from the southern end, pushing the ball out on the right-hand side, which was probably what we call the forehand side in a game of tennis, the bowl. Don't get it wrong, Rawlo. The bowl was running more truly than going out to the left-hand side, where it seemed to get deviated by the wind.
It did. Often it's better to play on the wide side because it's a bit truer. You can count on the wind blowing it in. But when you play the narrow side, they just wobble around all over the place. Often it was very difficult on the narrow side, so you're better on the wider side.
We've watched Belmont throughout the season, and the experts have always been saying that Belmont are a very solid team of skippers. And I think that people like yourself and David Moss, you really have led your individual rinks very well throughout the season, and again today.
Yeah, well, I think it's as anyone in a team would say, it's a team effort, and Queenscliff have a lot of talent, and they'll come back hard in the preliminary final and maybe in the grand final. It was a very good effort by us today. They were the favourites, but we did a very good job. I'm extremely happy to get into the grand final. It's a team effort, absolutely.
And Queenscliff Blues sitting on top of the ladder. They'd only lost one game through the home and away series, and ironically that was to their other side, Queenscliff Gold. So from outside the club, you're the only other team to defeat them in the season so far.
We had, I think, down at when we played them at Queenscliff, we only lost by about 4 shots, so it was close, and then they beat us by about 17 at Belmont. We always felt we were in it with a chance, and today was our day, but we may have to do it again, so we'll have to see.
But from here, it's straight into the grand final, and you'll play off what looks to be a game between Torquay and Queenscliff Blue once again. So you've still got some you've got a week off, but you've still got some tough competition. What does that week off do for you in the game of bowls?
Oh, look, we're in the grand final. I think we're already there. We'll be happy about that. It's not like footy where you can get injured and so forth, and it's probably good to have the rest, but we'll take it as a positive. To beat Queenscliff today is a great effort for our club, and I'm very happy about it, and they can battle that out next week, and we'll see what happens.
Well, all the very best, Shane, and we look forward to seeing you in the grand final.
I'm looking forward to it immensely. Thank you, Graham.
And one thing I must say, our viewers are very, very enthusiastic about the way in which you are able to, shall we say, provide some great theatre when you are leading the side.
It's an emotional game sometimes, and leaning everywhere doesn't help, but I don't know what happens, but it's just great to be out there and having a game of bowls.
Thank you to all involved up there at the Geelong West Bowls Club. A great afternoon. The Geelong Cricket Association final day's play in the Division 1 home and away series saw South Barwon take a strong grip on its place on the final ladder with a comfortable win over fellow finalist North Geelong on the magnificent grass of Osborne Park. We caught up with former South Barwon player of note, Michael Vines, for his views on the game. A beautiful sunny day at Osborne Park where South Barwon Cricket Club are taking on North Geelong. And South Barwon with the upper hand at just after the tea break at 1 for 127. Michael Vines joins us with his son Eamon Vines out there and has been since the start of the innings. But overall a great start by South Barwon, Michael.
Yeah, they're going all right at the moment, and my son is batting quite nicely.
There is a good story to young Eamon, the way he's come through cricket. I mean, he started as well, you tell the story.
Well, perhaps I'll start by saying that you might think it's my genes, but it's his mother's genes that we're seeing out there. No, he's come through our juniors, and he also played APS cricket. And I guess this has been a breakout year for him, particularly. He was contemplating going to Premier Cricket at the start of this season, made the decision to have another season at South Barwon, and it's really been a great season for him so far.
And of course, there is that day in the history of the South Barwon Cricket Club where we actually had, 4 Vines playing in the one side?
It was 6. It was 6. It was a 7th game a few years ago, towards the end of my time playing. Daughter Charlotte, daughter Amelia, daughter Imogen, son Eamon, and even Mrs Vines came out to play a game.
And Mrs. Vines was wicket-keeping on that day, wasn't she?
She was indeed. She was indeed.
Now, that's a history and a day in the history of the South Barwon Cricket Club. But you've been a great part of the South Barwon Cricket Club, and this year South Barwon have certainly done a great job in with Darren Hornstein and the, so I used to call them the Sort South Hornstein team, but they've come up with some terrific recruits and they've certainly matured as a cricket club.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, oh, hang on, you distracted me for a minute there. Yes, absolutely. I mean, we've got a fellow called Clinton Peake, as we all know. Joel Davies has come back to play with us. All sons of former players at South Barwon. And you're probably aware that we've got our hands tantalisingly close to the Club Championship trophy. If the games go the way we want today, and I hope I don't put the mockers on it by saying it, we will achieve the Club Championship for the first time since 1976.
And playing in the top 6 in the finals, you go in with a lot of confidence with what looks to be heading for a solid victory over North Geelong, who probably will slip down to 5th after today and have to then take on East Belmont in their first finals round.
Yeah, well, we're taking some good form in. We know that, and we know that there are going to be some good teams that we'll come up against. North, on the other hand, they were the ladder leaders, if my memory is correct, at Christmas time, and have struggled a bit after Christmas. But it'll be a great final series. We're looking forward to it, and hopefully it can go our way.
Putting South Barwon aside, who do you rate as probably the next 2 top contenders?
Oh, well, you've got to, you can't be dismissive of East Belmont under Chris Bambury, West.
Thank you, Michael, and congratulations to Eamon Vines, the son who went on to make 100 not out at the end of the day. Partway through our News Geelong sports news as we take a break and return with more sport and weather after this.